gunman opened fire at a bar in Thousand Oaks in California in the United States, killing 12 people, including a police officer. Now, multiple people are also injured in the shooting incident. The extent of their injuries is not known at this moment. The unidentified gunman is said to have opened fire at the Borderline Bar and Grill in Thousand Oaks, which is part of the greater Los Angeles area in California. At least 200 people were inside the bar when the gunman opened fire. SWAT officers were seen trying to secure the area, and paramedics were giving CPR to first aid to victims outside the bar. Now, when officers first responded, they reported there was an additional gunfire and said approximately 30 rounds had been fired. The gunman was shot dead as well inside the bar, but he is yet to be identified.
We have not identified the suspect yet. Our partners from the FBI were on scene almost immediately to help us with identification process and with crime scene processing. We have no idea if there is a terrorism link to this event or not. It would be a total guess. It's a horrific scene in there. There is blood everywhere, and the suspect is part of that. And I didn't want to get that close and disturb the scene and possibly jeopardize the investigation.
He had 2 rounds that I know with him. He changed them within about 6 seconds, which was really fast. So he knew what he was doing. And he also had perfect form. When I look back, he was like spot on.
All right, and joining us to talk a little bit more about this latest shooting in the United States is Mary McCarthy, who joins us from Los Angeles. And Mary, what is the latest that you're picking up on the investigation? We know that so far the gunman has remained unidentified.
That's right. It's very much a developing story. It's exactly 5 hours since violence broke out, 11:20 p.m. on a Wednesday night. A busy night for college students who were gathered, many of them at this bar, the Borderline Bar and Grill, not too far from Pepperdine University. Tragically, 12 of them, they were killed when the gunman came in and opened fire. At this point, we do not know the name of the gunman. We do not know what his motive was. As you heard there, it sounded like he knew what he was doing as a shooter. We have some reports from witnesses saying that prior to opening fire, he threw smoke bombs into the bar, but that hasn't been confirmed. But that would indicate certainly a certain amount of premeditation. At this point, though, the investigation has just begun. All that we know about the gunman is that he too is dead.
Right. And Mary, then very briefly then, of course, at this moment, are the investigations looking into a terror angle at all in this? We know there have been several, mass shootings in America, not all, of course, linked to terror.
At this point, we know that the FBI has been called in to respond, in addition, of course, to the local law enforcement. But that is not an indication that this is considered terrorism or might be considered terrorism. That would be standard when we have a mass outbreak of violence like this. We'll know in the coming hours. We should know more anyway, whether this is purely domestic or has anything else linked to it. At this point, absolutely no sign that it's terror related.
Right, Mary McCarthy, thanks very much for joining us with those updates from Los Angeles. Thanks indeed.